Well, time to grab some ingredients for tonight's dinner. We're going to have chicken skewers with curry leaves and green pawpaw salad. So first off, we're going to grab some of this beautiful lemongrass. We've got a nice thick stalk like this. One of them. Nice big thick stalk. And we'll need two of them. This one's a beauty. We'll grab that one as well. You see the roots are still on the end of that. If you wanted to whack that in the ground, you could grow yourself another lemongrass plant. Alright, we'll just cut that down to size. For our lemongrass, we only need the thick bit of the stalk. So we'll peel this other stuff away, snap off the roots, these old leaves. Bit of wiggle around. There's one ready. There we have our two lemongrass stalks ready to take back to the kitchen. We need a few of these crazy hot Thai chilies for our green pawpaw salad. No shortage, as you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll take 6 because we're not short of them. That'll destroy the taste buds, everything else in your body. Alright, now we need to go and track down some curry leaves. Go on our skewers. Here's a big curry leaf plant up against the turmeric. So when you're making the skewers, you want to get these nice thick leaves, not these like young tender ones. Contrary to what you normally eat the nice young tender stuff. We're going to look for these older ones a bit further into the plant. Here we go, just run your fingers along them. We'll take plenty of leaves. Because again, there's no shortage, and look at that. Lots and lots of curry leaves. Absolutely beautiful fragrance. Alright, today we're going to whip up some chicken skewers with curry leaves, lemongrass and garlic. A bit of marinade, and we're going to do them on the Weber later on for dinner this evening. We're making a green pawpaw salad or green papaya salad to go with that as well. The old Thai style classic. Alrighty, so first off, knock up a couple of these big cloves of Russian garlic. These came out of my garden, harvested them last November. You can see they last very well. Give a couple of little scrappy bits on them. Just give that a bit of a rough chop. This is going to go in the mortar and pestle. Russian garlic is relatively easy to grow. The only thing that makes it tricky is if you get a lot of wet weather in spring, in October, November, it can make it pretty hard. It makes it want to go mouldy. But other than that, it grows very easily. I have a little video on that. Once we've got through this year's harvest with it, I'll show you that. Alright, some lemongrass out of the garden. So we want to use the inner parts of the lemongrass in our marinade. We take off some of these coarser outer leaves. Just give it a bit of a twist and you get your fingers under that. Now, you'll see this is where the root bit was attached, and this is quite hard and woody. So we're going to try to come down till we get more of a purple colour on the inside of it. So, and that's where we're starting to get into that. You can see those purple rings. You're getting into the better part of the lemongrass now. Because I'm going to pound this in the mortar and pestle, I'm not too fussy. Once you've got down to here, you can see it's all purple. So that's the best eating bit of the lemongrass. Chop, chop, chop. You can still go well into this upper green stalk, so it's changed colour again. And these little bits of stalk, they're fantastic. You can put them into curries or anything like that to add that lemongrass flavour and leave them whole like that, and then take them out. When you're ready to serve, if you're making a Thai red curry or green curry, fantastic. Alright, so we'll just give these a rough chop. And again, this is going to go in the mortar and pestle. I find with lemongrass, it's good to hit it in the mortar and pestle so that you don't get any sort of woody or gritty sort of tasting bits from the lemongrass. We're going to do 2 chicken breasts as skewers, so we're going to have 2 stalks of lemongrass in total. So pretty much the ratio that I'm looking for is 1 stalk of lemongrass for every chicken breast that we're going to use. You can use chicken thigh meat. I'm just happy to use chicken breast. We're going to break down a couple of chickens in a second, as you'll see, to use for this dish. There's enough lemongrass. Alright. So whack all this into the mortar and pestle. Just roughly chop it now because, like I said, it's going to get a good bashing in a second. Too crazy. Another little trick here, we're going to put some salt in the dish, so if you want to put salt in now, that helps with the crushing. The salt's quite abrasive, so probably about half a teaspoon of salt. Whenever you're crushing garlic or lemongrass or anything like that, that salt does definitely help to get it down more if you're really trying to get a paste. Don't want to take it right down into mush. We still want a nice bit of texture. It goes very well on the barbecue, as you'll see later on. So basically, that's what you're looking at, about that kind of texture consistency. I'm going to put that into our bowl for our marinade. Okay, so we've got all that in there. Now we're going to put out a whole handful of curry leaves that we just picked out of the garden. I'm going to add some of my homegrown turmeric. This is the real McCoy. Ooh, it's got that strong, almost antiseptic smell to it. Beautiful colour. That's all natural colour, organic, no spray required. And later on I'll be doing a video on how you process your own turmeric. It's extremely easy to grow. So we'll just put about a teaspoon and a half of turmeric in, and that just gives everything a magnificent colour and a superb flavour. I've got some ground black pepper, and I'll whack that in, probably about a quarter of a teaspoon of ground black pepper. Okay. And now we're going to add some peanut oil, probably about half a tablespoon of peanut oil. Just mix that all around. So this is what you're looking at. This is the sort of consistency. And into this we're going to whack 2 chicken breasts, and then we're going to put that in the fridge until this evening, and we'll skewer it up, cook it over the coals. It'll be delicious. Next thing to do for our chicken skewers is, of course, get the chicken. You can buy straight up breast fillets from the supermarket. They're about $9–10 a kilo, something like that, when they're reasonably priced. Or you can buy yourself a whole chicken, $3.90 a kilo, and just process your own, which is my preferred way of doing it. So we're going to break this chicken down, and I can show you a few different things of what I like to do with the chicken. Get the best value out of it, so you can get lots of different things. Okay, breast side up. So we've got our legs, thighs, wings, and the rest of the carcass. So first off, make a little cut down here like that. I'm going to take the thighs off. Oops, I'll just make sure I just emptied all the crappy young players. Make sure you empty that and take this horrible absorbent pad out of the chicken. Alright, so we've got rid of the excess juice. So now we're just going to take the thighs off. Just snap that bone there. Flip your chook over. Off like that. So we've got thigh and a drumstick. Take your chicken wing off. Put it around this side so you can actually see what's going on. Just cut round the joint. Just think about where all the joints are, and that's really where you're aiming your cuts. Snap that bone, cut through with a knife. There's one chicken wing. Flip it around again. We'll take the other side, drumstick and thigh off. Cut down when you get down to the bone again. Just give it a little snap, then you know where to cut. Thigh, cut through there. There we have. Other drumstick and thigh. You could separate those two again from each other if you wanted to do them for different dishes, but I need to leave them together at this stage. We'll take our other drumstick, wing. A little snap. Okay, so now we have 2 wings. I'm going to cryovac my wings. These wings, for some ridiculous reason, are like $5 a kilo when they're on special at the supermarket, which is just outrageous given how little meat there is on them. So by doing this, you can make your little wing packs, and when you want to do beautiful barbecue wings, take out a couple of these packs and save yourself a lot of money. Alright, so I'm going to take the skin off. Skin off these chicken breasts. Now the skin can go straight in with into your stock pot to make stock, or I'm going to keep it aside for the bag where I'm going to cook some chicken up for the dogs. Fussy boxers get to eat chicken and rice. Okay, so what we're left with is the 2 breasts on the chicken carcass. So now we'll take each of the breasts off. Very simple. So you've got your rib bone that runs right down the middle, and then your ribs. So we're going to go down like this, just gently down to the bone. And just run your knife along, feel for the bone with your knife. There we are, just running along like that. So we're minimising the amount of meat that we leave on the carcass. Just cut in like that. There's no bones in the breast, so it's nice and easy. And there you have chicken breast, ready to go to process for your thing. And we'll do the other side. Down along the bones again, leaving you that beautiful meat on the bone. There we have our other breast fillet. I've just left a tiny bit of bone in there, which we'll cut out in a second. There we have 2 breast fillets, that tiny little bone because I didn't go around it properly. That's all right, it's all gone now. So this leftover carcass, fantastic. So what we're going to do with this is make chicken stock. So this I just whack into a pot. This little bone in there can go. All the skin, if you weren't going to use it for something like what I'm going to cook up for the dogs, you'd whack all that skin in there as well. So but back to the job at hand with the curry leaves. So you've got your tenderloin bit of the chicken and the main bit of the chicken breast. Just separate that out. So think about your skewers. What size pieces are going to cook well on the barbecue. So this is the sort of size pieces. What I try to do to make it easier to cook it is to try to get the pieces as square as possible. So when I want to flip each of my skewers over on the 4 sides to evenly cook it. I'm going to have the coals fairly hot and I want to dry the chicken out. So this is the sort of effect I'm talking about. So this has come out almost like a chicken cube. Now, not every piece has to be like that, but if you have enough pieces that are in a cube shape, it's going to hold the skewers in a nice attitude, the way you want it on the barbecue. And just cut that like that. With the unevenness of the pieces, the way I line up the skewers, I have these skinnier pieces on the ends where they get less heat, and the thicker cube bits will be on the middle of the skewer. And they'll get the most heat. Alright, so there's one breast down. Grab the tenderloin out again, separate that off. The breast as well there, it's no problems. Now we're going to get our cube bits. And we'll definitely do in half. Probably do this one in half as well. I want to have one ridiculously thick piece of chicken, because when you cook chicken, you've got to have it cooked right through, but you don't want to dry it out either. So lining up the different bits to get it just right is the key. So here we've got 2 chicken breasts and a marinade that we put in before. Simply mix the marinade through. That's all evenly coating the chicken. So I didn't put too much oil, so it's not super greasy. There's not leftover oil down the bottom. And there we have our marinated chicken. You can do this the day before if you wanted to, or you can do it the same day. I've done this, times it now, 11 o'clock in the morning, and we'll eat this about 5:30, 6 o'clock. So it'll get about 6 hours, which is plenty of time. Okay, and that's it with the marinade. We'll come back later on this afternoon and whack it on the skewers just before we cook it. We're going to steam our basmati rice for tonight's dinner. This is the brand that I use. Here we've got our water just up to the boil in the steamer, a rice, and here's the secret ingredient, black cardamom pods. The black cardamom pods give a magnificent flavour to the rice. So I'll just chuck a couple of them in the boiling water. Okay, so we whack a couple of these beautiful black cardamom pods, so aromatic, straight into our water. Now with the basmati rice, the way to get it to make sure that it doesn't stick together is to only boil it for 5 minutes, exactly 5 minutes, and then we take it out and steam it until it's properly cooked. So we whack in how much we want, probably a bit over nearly 2 cups, 1.5 to 2 cups. It really doesn't matter how much you put in there, as long as you only cook it for 5 minutes. So we check the time, 26 past 6. So 5 minutes exactly, and we'll take it off. The most important thing when you first put it in is to keep stirring it, just so the rice doesn't stick to the bottom. Once it comes back to the boil, no problems, the rice won't stick to the bottom of the pot. So anyway, we'll give it a nice little stir with the wooden spatula. That's coming back to the boil nicely. These black cardamom pods though, they really put a special flavour into the rice. You can use it with any sort of rice, with brown rice or with basmati rice or your long grain rice, whatever you prefer. But this rice cooking method is very good for any sort of white rice that's peeled. With brown rice, you really need to cook it for about 20 minutes before you put it on the steamer, because it takes a long time to cook brown rice with the husk on. But anyway, we're doing the basmati tonight to go with our skewers. And that'll do us. We'll come back when I put it in the steamer. Right, it's time to light up the charcoal. A couple of fire starters into the Weber. Hopefully they'll stay alight. Be handy if they actually made these things flammable. There we go. It's not going to go out, hopefully. Oh. Must be a safety thing having them non-flammable. Alright, whack on your coal in the chimney. We've got the rice on. A couple of more minutes and we'll be putting the rice in the steamer. So our rice has been on for exactly 5 minutes. So we just drain it through the steamer. Quick rinse to get the extra grains out. Top our pail pot. 50-60 mils of water, just enough to keep the rice out. Now here we have the rice, nowhere near cooked. We've still got our black cardamom, we keep that in the rice. Stuck it in. Whack on the lid. Back on the heat. And it'll take about, from when it comes back to the boil, it's about 10 minutes till the rice is cooked. But after that it's completely flexible. So if you leave it on a bit longer, it really doesn't matter. The most important part is that you only boil the rice at the start for 5 minutes. Any longer than that and it'll start to get gluggy. Alright, so we've got our coals lit, rice is on, skewers are made, we're getting ready to cook. Alright, so we've set our coals up for the grilling. You might notice I've set the grill at a little offset to the direction the skewers are going to go. That'll help to stop them from sticking. to be able to separate them more easily, and I've done the coals in a nice line like this because they're long rather than wide. A little tip for safety, always put a little bit of water in your Weber ashtray. Any coals that drop through will be extinguished instantly. Alright, it's time to get our skewers on. There's two. And number three. Alright, so we now just whack our lid back on, and that'll help stop any dust. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but there's a lot of wind. Alright, so we'll only have that on for a second. Right, it's time to do our first turn of the skewers. I had a little bit of time to hopefully cook on. They should come off nice and easily if they're setting right. And that's beautiful, that's what we want to see. Nice bit of charcoal marking. There we go. Looking fantastic. We'll whack our lid back on. We'll give it one more turn.
Smells
What do you reckon,
amazing.
Chrissy? Smell good?
Yeah.
Gonna be nice. Are you gonna say it's nice anyway?
Like the smell of cooking over an open fire.
It's pretty good, eh? The old charcoal.
It's awesome. It smells delicious.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I hope you're going to enjoy it.
Oh, always. Every
One more
meal
turn.
you cook, I enjoy.
Very good. Well, one more turn, and we'll be ready to go. All right, we're just going to plate up our beautiful skewers. Oh, I just love it when they join together like that. 1, 2, 3. And just to make it easy, I'm going to whip the skewers out. They'll be very hot, so don't grab them with your bare fingers, even if you do have Teflon hands like I do. Come out. Come on. Don't squash up like that one there. All right, here we go. So lovely. Try to make this look a little bit nicer for the presentation. Here we have green pawpaw salad, chicken and turmeric skewers, and curry leaves ready to go. Here we go. Slot that in on the table. On a turmeric leaf, no less. What do you think, Chrissy?
Oh, awesome.
You looking forward to this?
Smells delicious. I can't wait.
Very good. All right, tuck in, and that's it.
Oh,
How is it, Chrissy?
Delicious. Absolutely delicious.
You enjoying it?
Oh, so much.
Very, very good.